This came out. This is from the Wall Street Journal, where it says Trump versus Amazon's brilliant tariff idea. President Trump says his tariffs may raise enough revenue to replace the income tax. So why is he afraid to let Americans see what they're paying? Instead of owning its policy, the White House has bullied Amazon to keep quiet about what it will cost. So what's happening is Amazon is coming up with an idea of showing people when they purchase something on Amazon of how much calculated pricing when it comes to the tariffs. So how much of an increase you're going to have to pay because of these tariffs, and particularly the tariffs on China. And Trump administration is furious about that because they don't want people to know that the tariffs on China is very detrimental to a lot of consumer goods. Which is what I've been saying for a while since, the idea of threatening to go after China in some sort of war is you're going to war with a country that manufactures 95% of your goods. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's happening. So SL Canthian, I don't know how to pronounce it. Plummeting ship traffic in U.S. ports like Los Angeles and Seattle as Trump's tariffs hit trade with China. What does that mean? It means layoffs in transportation sector, layoffs in retail, empty shelves in stores, and a recession. And he links to this article from CNBC. Port of Los Angeles says shipping volume will plummet 35% next week as China tariffs start to bite. So this idea that you're going to tariff your way to victory, that, we're going to pressure countries to go to the negotiation table, that is biting a huge bullet, and it's blowing back right in America's face. And America's not too happy about this. The MAGA world is not too happy about this, but there's still a lot of Trump cheerleaders that are willing still to defend this, that you're going to lose, retail jobs, transportation, domino effect. If you're not going to have stuff coming in from China that's manufacturing 95% of your goods, there's no need for ship workers. There's no need for transportation. There's no need for all this. So it's a domino effect, and it's causing more chaos than good. So Christopher Webb also points out it's about to get ugly. 145% tariffs, price hikes, empty shelves, economic pain. Trump's chaos always lands hardest on working people. No more cheap shit, because soon buying from China will cost you 2.5 times more than when it did last month. What to expect? Skyrocketing prices, shortages, layoffs.
The WTO, the World Trade Organization, is expecting the amount of trade between the United States and China to be slashed by 80%. Then what does this mean for the nation's ports? The top two are right here. And now the director of the Port of Los Angeles says, as you're about to hear, the shipments from China have stopped. The stark forecast for the nation's busiest port.
In 2 weeks' time, arrivals will drop by 35%, as essentially all shipments out of China for major retailers and manufacturers has ceased, and cargo coming out of Southeast Asia locations is much softer than normal, with the tariffs now in place.
The Port of LA's executive director, Gene Soroka, explaining while the tariff talk seems to change hourly, for now, a 145% tariff on China will have an impact.
That simply means that if you're buying a product from China, it costs 2.5 times more than it did last month.
The twin ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, the nation's second busiest, are the drivers of the Southern California economy. This week, the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation predicting the trickle-down effects of the tariffs that now threaten $500 billion in revenue for our region and put 2 million workers at risk.
With decreased economic activity comes decreased ability to meet payroll.
The CEO of the Trucking Association says truck drivers will be among those impacted.
There's just, unfortunately, outside pressures that is going to cause folks to probably lose their jobs.
As for products in stores, major retailers are telling the Port of Los Angeles they have about a 6 to 8 week supply of inventory. But according to Soroka, that will soon dry up.
Are you tired of winning yet? Make America great again. Billions of dollars are going to be rained out because of this trade war. Do you feel lucky? Do you feel winning? Do you feel like it's helping at all? Here's this woman, Alice Vaughn, saying, why is this store drowning in paper plates? Because we're not supposed to notice the other shelves are empty. Thanks to the tariffs, inventory is drying up, and the retailers are scrambling to make things look normal. So they overfill shelves with whatever they can get. Expect more of this. The shortages are starting, and this is just the warm-up. Boy, it seems like a deja vu of the COVID days. That we can't even blame supply chain issue. It's because tariffs are happening, because the administration that is elected in power arbitrarily did this. So you can't even say this is organically. This is done intentionally by the administration. Here, this is a video from CNN where now big retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target there, you can see, are now demanding Trump and the administration to resort to other measures because this war on China, when 95% of your manufacturing is pushed over there, China did not steal the factories. They did not swoop it up like a cartoon villain. They pushed all the manufacturing. They pushed China to cultivate these industries because stockholders and share owners and business interests all pushed away industry from America and from American workers to make cheap labor elsewhere. Reminds you of the days of Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, where entrepreneurs will pitch about great products and all you hear from the investors is, why don't you make it in China? It's cheaper material. You can make cheaper over there. It's cheaper in China. 2 cents on the dollar. That's all they care about, is cutting the labor costs to make a huge profit. And that doesn't help the American working class. And that's why it's in shambles of what it is right now. And the Trump administration thinks that these tariffs are going to bring the manufacturing back. It's not. It's not. China's not going to back down. They have flying cars for a reason. They invested into their businesses. Their businesses are booming because of just the decline of America. And even if they're by shot of miracle, a factory does pop out of thin air into the American town, we already know from Howard Lutnick that they're going to be replacing them with robots. AI is going to take over. There's not even a need for American work. But here's CNN talking about now major retailers are very furious at Trump.
Also reporting today that a group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves, they said. Empty shelves in American stores as soon as this summer because of Trump's actions.
And I am told that business leaders, the Business Roundtable and others have been reaching out to White House Chief of Staff, trying to get a meeting with the president, trying to convey to him in real terms the real fallout of some of this uncertainty, some of these tariff policies. And it was that empty shelves comment, we are told, that really caught the president's attention. Of course, you can see why. The whole idea that we would have an interruption in the supply chain, sort of like we all saw in the pandemic, simply because of his policies, is something that would be difficult for the White House to endure.
Empty shelves, be prepared. Be prepared. Why would China be so anti-Semitic? That's how I imagine the Trump administration's thinking. Why would China be so anti-Semitic? Making up that excuse, even though they did it to themselves. And here's like this. It will be like predicted weeks ago, empty shelves, but also missing raw materials and parts for production, all from China. So this is the blowback of putting these tariffs on. This is how ridiculous this is, because there's no fallback on this. There's no safety net. Trump put these tariffs on out of whim, and it has done the utmost destruction to America. It's not helping anything because there's no solid foundation for America. There's no business interest because American business interests got evaporated by wealthy billionaire elites that aren't tied down to America, that don't invest in America, and sent their business elsewhere. And now here you are. You're going to have empty shelves. You're going to have consumers that are going to go through grocery stores and not be able to get products because of this. And even if you had American companies, someone recently mentioned about Dell. Dell computers are made in America. Dell computers, they make the outside casing and sell in America, but all the critical minerals, all the chips, all the computer parts, all everything interior of a Dell computer comes elsewhere. That's why these tariffs are disastrous in every shape and form. And now you're seeing the full frontal effect that's going to hit consumers hard. It's going to hit America's hard. And it's going to be far more worse damage than the years of COVID. Because people may say, well, COVID, we had, empty shelves, but we survived that and it turned out great. The supply chain issue is far different, way far different than having an administration purposely put on tariffs, attacking all these other countries that are going to domino effect to resulting in the worst of Americans' industry. You just saw the ship ports, they're worried. You're seeing UPS drivers and FedEx, they're worried. You're seeing people that, cargo trains and shipping, like all that's going to be affected. And now you're looking at retailers. There's going to be small businesses that are going to be affected. How do you think people that want to start a business, entrepreneurs that want to start in America, how do you think they're going to be okay with this? That in order to get inventory, it's going to cost them an arm and a leg, literally an arm and a leg, because of how much artificial inflation created by the administration. And here's even just more shocking of this, just shows you the entire essence of the Trump administration's just utter arrogance to this. Because you hear many people clapping back and saying, oh, you got to believe this. You got to believe this. Because now countries are negotiating. So it's working. It's working. These tariffs are working. You just got to believe in it. Well, really American points this out. In a shocking moment, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reveals he really has no idea on how many empty shelves American consumers can expect as a result of Trump's tariffs, saying, I assume retailers pre-ordered. America is cooked. And this is Scott Bessent, who is a directive from the WEF, the same WEF that told you, oh, nothing, you don't like it. Well, guess what? That vision is now coming true in the Trump administration. Turns out Donald Trump wasn't going to defeat globalism. He was going to rebrand it for his own image. And now they don't know what the hell they're doing. They have no idea how these tariffs are operating. They have no idea how it's working and no idea how it's going to affect everyday Americans. Watch.
Right now,
Are you worried about empty shelves? Because they say that a lot of these the supply lines and the cargo ships are being held up. A lot of people are saying turn it around with the tariffs this high. I don't want the product. Are you worried about empty shelves?
Not at present. We have some great retailers. I assume they pre-ordered. I think we'll see some elasticities. I think we'll see replacements. And then we will see how quickly the Chinese want to de-escalate.
Tomorrow's your day.
I assume they just pre-ordered and China is just going to de-escalate. I assume that. Have faith. Have faith. Trump is like God. It's religion. Just have faith. Like when Scientologists talk about their leaders, like just have faith. This guy knows what he's doing. Have faith. They have no idea. They have no idea. And even if retailers did pre-order, that's only going to last what? How long is that going to last until they have to reorder again? Because you could tell that China's not backing down. It's confirmed. China is not going to back down. They have a thriving economy for a reason. They have flying cars. They can do AI technology in a nanosecond compared to us. Do you think the tariffs are going to slow them down? No. They just sent back same tariffs to America. And it's going to be worse. They think that China needs America. It turns out America needs China. Especially when a lot of their business interests got pushed over there. All the American business elites got together and say, hey, we can just make things cheaper in China. We can screw some other country and exploit their resources instead of actually paying people a decent wage in America. Instead of actually having union-based jobs like they used to do in the 50s. Dang.
Right.
So here, going back to what Amazon was proposing, having it stated in the pricing how much the tariffs are going to cost individual products. In a bizarre moment, Caroline Levitt is told Amazon will begin to show consumers the tariff cost next to the price. And she says, this is hostile and a political act by Amazon. The White House thinks informing consumers is hostile. As they complained about the Biden administration's not being transparent, here they are engaging in warfare against Amazon, against Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is a friend of Trump. Jeff Bezos is Trump's little buddy there. Remember there was that little tiny feud where Elon Musk thought he was, getting third wheeled by Jeff Bezos? And now they're saying it's hostile to inform Americans about the tariffs. How much they're paying extra on tariffs that were designed by the American administration. Watch this.
So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect, crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home.
This is why America needs to buy America and only support America, and Amazon is a betrayer because they sent their business to China, just like every other American business. Like every American business. And it's hard to buy American when Americans can't afford to buy anything. So you're stuck in a conundrum. You're stuck in a conundrum wrapped around this mega cloth disguised as patriotism when really it's authoritarianism. Because God forbid we inform the general public, we inform consumers, have transparency to know how much they're paying extra with these tariffs. I thought these guys wanted transparency. I thought you just said that the Biden administration wasn't transparent about inflation. And you're about to see another segment here where, again, another Trump cheerleader, another Trump defender, and the tariff defender is going to use that exact same rhetoric. So here, Tom Borelli, PhD, apparently a doctor, but maybe he's just overcompensating for something, says, so Amazon will show the price increase on products due to tariffs on China. Number one, Amazon is siding with China over the United States. Number two, now U.S. consumers can easily avoid products from China and buy American. Again, you're going to get products, you're going to get inventory, you're going to get a massive amount of stuff from other places. It's impossible to be only single-handedly only American or only Canadian or only whatever country you're living in. It's significantly impossible. Think of it this way, okay? We have a company here called French's, where they create mustard and ketchup and condiments. Yes, French's is the Canadian company, but where do they get the tomatoes from? Do you think they grow tomatoes up in Nunavut in the Yukon where it's snowing and cold? Or do they reach out to other countries that have a warmer climate that's used to growing tomatoes and more tropical fruits and vegetables, and they reach out to those people? Ergo, why you need trade. This idea of being completely non-aversive to the trade war is just ridiculous. And American companies, again, they deliberately push their products and their business outside of America. And even if American companies do magically show up again and build back factories, they're going to replace them with robots. So you're getting screwed at every point with this. Every single point. And China's not backing down. China's not backing down from this. So Thomas Swalwell quotes Maria Bartiromo, calls out Amazon for jacking up prices and blaming inflation right after teaming up with a Chinese PR firm. So watch, again, another Trump cheerleader, another Trump defender, a tariff defender. You got to believe in it. You got to believe in it. Another cult follower using the excuse of, well, Joe Biden wasn't transparent about inflation. And I'm going to explain to you just how ridiculous that is. Listen.
What do you think of the Amazon decision on the tariff in terms of clarity? And Caroline Levitt saying that the president sees it as a hostile and political act to say that the price increases that they are facing would be due to the tariffs.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's hostile or not. I will say that there was no mention whatsoever at Amazon about Joe Biden's inflation. And the fact is that we got to 40-year highs. Inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index was up 9.1%. We all remember we were at the cash register. Everything cost so much more. So, you know, why they're putting a little bug now, this is because of the tariffs, and they didn't put a little bug, this is because of the $7 trillion spent by the Democrats under Joe Biden.
So this is their go-to flex. This is their deflect here. Well, Joe Biden didn't put Amazon didn't put anything when Joe Biden was causing inflation. Here's the thing. Inflation is not a fixed number. Inflation fluctuates time to time. You can get high inflation, you can get low inflation. It goes up, it goes down. It goes higher, it goes lower. There's no set number, so it's harder to calculate at every single point how much a product is going to cost. Whereas a tariff because Donald Trump already has a calculated figure per country, per resource, it's easier to calculate. It's a simple numbers game. And I'm really shocked that Maria Bartiromo, this woman here, who is a host of a business network, doesn't see that. Can't see that. Oh, because it's Trump, and anything that goes against Trump is going against this false religion that I've created. This cult that I'm in. I'm part of the Trump following cult. Trust me, the tariffs are working, and anyone that says differently, well, Biden didn't do anything. There wasn't anything about inflation. Yeah, because you can't calculate inflation into Amazon's system. There's no set number. It's not like inflation at 6% and then put that to everything. Everything was inflated in different levels. But with tariffs, there's a set list, there's a set number, there's a calculated number on which country has which tariff. Easier for Amazon to figure out. Easy for Amazon to figure out. That's the simplicity of it. And just someone like her, over her head. Seems ridiculous. And it's even affecting Temu. Temu, that's like now hailed one of the biggest outlets for people that can't afford anything because of just how cheap everything is. Even the knockoffs are getting affected by this. So something that would have cost $138 with free shipping, because that's what Temu does. They do free shipping over a certain amount. That now, because the import charges, because of all the other tariffs that they've calculated and showed the customer here, that number is now $269. So almost doubled what they paid for. So people can't even afford things on Temu anymore. How crazy that is. You can't afford knockoffs. You can't afford brand name materials. Businesses are hurting. Industries are hurting. This is not looking well for Trump. This is not looking well for making America great again. And it's definitely not going to bring America back. Because in order to bring America back, you should have invested in businesses beforehand and then maybe talked about tariffs. Because you don't have a foundation. And we don't have a foundation. There's no point to having these tariffs other than the fact that it's going to disrupt every other business known to mankind and causing this domino effect. And while there's empty shelves in America over the tariffs, remember when they thought that Russia was going to have empty shelves because of the sanctions? Remember they thought Venezuela, because of all these sanctions, oh, we're going to cut down on this communist socialist government, or we're going to put all these sanctions on Putin. Their economy is going to crumble. Remember all that rhetoric? Well, here's to remind people, Western media reports that Russia's supermarket shelves are empty due to sanctions. You can see right off the bat, it doesn't look empty. It looks more full than ever. The Russian economy is doing excellent. The Chinese economy is doing excellent. Venezuela didn't have empty shelves. So, turns out the ones that are getting screwed are the Americans. By American policy on other nations thinking that they're going to destroy them, but it's actually destroying themselves. And here's a little video of a woman at this Russian grocery store, and you can see.
The WTO, the World Trade Organization.
Oh. Hell. Why did that just... Hey. Oh, this is annoying. Okay. Hold on. Like I said, the slides have been really finicky today. Okay, so here we go.
Empty shells, they say. Where?
So, all these tariffs thinking it's going to, take down other countries and give the leverage to America back, not proven effective. And people are in for a very, 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 very interesting next few months. And we're only at, barely 100 days now. Or is it 100 days now? I think they just had the 100 days of the Trump administration. And they're already, empty shelves, massive layoffs. You think these tariffs are going to stop China? Do you think that the tariffs are going to stop all these other countries that are doing successful because these other countries are investing into their businesses, making a healthy foundation for their country? No, they're doing pretty well. America's earned because America abandoned itself. It abandoned itself, sent their manufacturing overseas, and then decided to put tariffs on it, thinking that it's going to revert around. It's not. And even if it does, even if they magically put a factory back into American towns, the game was already revealed. Automation's going to take over. AI is going to take over. Your job is pointless if a factory does come back or not. So, once again, this is the Trump administration shooting itself, thinking that this Make America Great Again is going to make America great again, but turns out it blows back right in front of America's face. It's like a cartoon where they had a gun, the barrel would be coming around and boom, right into your face.